Okay, so this is the Plumline SPC100 Cistern. I've got to explain how to remove the valve and adjust the flushing part of it. Okay, so all you need is a screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver. Start by taking the panel off. It may be a thin one or maybe a standard one. Okay, first thing you do is you unclip the little forks, retaining forks on the push rods. Undo the cistern. Some cistern flush panels, the subframe part of it is mounted slightly different for different applications. But unscrew that. Okay, then we've got to pull this part out here, which is like the rocker arm assembly. So there's two clips there to pull that out. First things first, turn off the water because we're going to flush it. So turn that off. Pull the valve up to flush it. Make sure it's completely drained out. Pull the hose out there so it's out of the way. Then you've got the spreader, which is this part of it in here, and which we just take off, discard for a moment, and so then we've got to lift this whole valve up. Now you've got to squeeze. If you just look down on here, there's a clip, there's a black clip which you've got to squeeze in. So you squeeze it and pull it out. Okay, and then you pull the flush valve out, pull it up. This white lever will, this connecting rod goes 90 degrees and you can pull it straight out. Just hold your thumb on that piece of plastic there and just pull it straight out with the leverage. Now you've got to hold the valve, the top of the valve, which is the overflow pipe, usually I do it with my left hand, and then I give the extension part of the overflow pipe just a wee twist anti-clockwise, about a fifth of a turn, and that comes off. Then you pull the valve up, spin it sideways on a little shelf that's down inside the system, and pull it out, bottom first. So the part we're looking at is this thing here. That's the full flush float. That is the half flush float. So we want to concentrate the full flush float at this stage. So there's a full flush float. You can see indication and marking down on this rod here. So all we need to simply do is to flick that right to the very bottom, which it'll go to a full 6 litre flush, and so it let the water drop and then shut off when the water's right at the bottom of the cistern. So putting the unit back inside again is as easy as taking it out. So we'll put that part back in, hold it, push it down, spin it round, fifth of a turn, put this part in here. It just goes in the bottom, it doesn't go in that top gap, it goes in the second one down. And then clip that like so. That should go down nice and neatly. Then you've got the clip, which you just pull the valve forward a wee bit, put it down onto the system. So it's got to go. This part here goes onto the valve. Sorry, so that goes onto the valve. So it follows the valve around, which holds it down, and clips in there nicely. Then we put the spreader back in. Nicely too. Put the hose back in onto the spreader, which is that little clip there. Then we've got the rocker assembly, which we just push in carefully and make sure that's lined up with the parts inside. So that's just got to go in there like so. You're left with the push rod sticking out, which you just poke through here, like that. Then you like that, get the other screw, This one's been installed a few times, different areas. This is being a showroom model, so it's always going to be slightly different than a true working model. Okay, so I'm just going to put that in there like that, and then when we adjust these, we just make sure that these are this part of the push rod here is just behind that shoulder, and it can still just move. See, that's a bit tight, so I'll just unloosen that a wee bit. Wind it in. You just don't want it to pull up the valve, so that's like that. Fork goes in and secures it so it can't move around. And that one there is the same, so it's fine. Push down and in. We'll turn the water on. We can probably turn the water on earlier, but whatever happens, you can turn it on now. And then finally, lastly, you can click the flush plate. It goes up from the bottom and sits on there. Now let's go wait till it fills up and you can test it. Thank you for watching.